I have been at Johnson & Johnson for a little under 2 years now, and it has been quite an adventure. And what I wanted to do very briefly here today is give you an idea of what conversations are happening within our four walls, to give you some perspective on what it is to be a brand manager who is expected to have double-digit growth, deal with new product launches, deal with retail deals, recalls. They have a lot on their mind. And so as the person who comes to them to talk to them about the changing media landscape, it's been a very interesting conversation. What it looks like to them is this. It looks very chaotic. And what we're trying to do is create a framework that simplifies this a little bit. So we start to speak in their language. We understand that there are millions of choices out there. It isn't easy to decide where to go. And we say, we know you are very focused on that moment of truth. That moment of truth when the consumer gets into the store, into the doctor's office, and 2/3 of decisions are made, prescriptions are written. We understand that world, and that's a very important world. But what this new landscape and the technology has given us is a very big opportunity, and it lives on the internet. And it's where our consumers are powered to find us. All we need to do is focus on getting them there and creating a great experience or an education, whatever it is that we want them to know about us. I would say that there are two moments of truth at this point. So where we started with millions of choices, there is that physical place that we know well. And then there's that virtual place that we need to figure out, because it gives us the opportunity to get closer to our consumers 24/7, every day of the year. And that's a huge opportunity. But in order to get there, we're going to need to work differently, think differently, behave differently, and we're being asked to innovate. So we go through these meetings and we talk about all the great case studies and what Apple's doing and how exciting this all is at Google. And everybody gets kind of pumped up. And then they get back to their office the next morning and innovate is at the top of their list. Then they have a meeting with finance. And that's what innovation starts to look like. Loud and clear. And by the end of the week, it just looks like this. So how do we help? How do we help our marketers take advantage of the engines that are out there? We come back around to that innovation, and they ask, well, how do we innovate and still hit our numbers? Not hitting your numbers is not an option. I mean, it's just not. It isn't. It's reality. So we've tried to build a framework. I'm going to take you through a couple of strategies we've been using with success. I'm going to do it quickly. The first one is about attracting talent. And I don't know if you can bring up the lights in the house very quickly, but I want everyone to stand up. Can everyone stand up?
Hey, this was unscripted.
You need to move.
Let's stand up.
Everybody up? Come on. A couple sitters here. All right, all the men sit down.
Oh.
Yes.
There's an opportunity here. And there was no lines at the ladies' room. That was the only good thing about this, guys. Take note. There's an opportunity here. Don't miss it. You guys are leaders. You can change that. And then the next thing, beyond attracting talent, which is hard because they are few and far between, or they're too young, they're not out of school yet. We don't have time to wait, and I agree with Bob. You know, it has to be in the curriculum, but we don't have time to wait for that. So we really need to start thinking about how, as an industry, we start to create talent. And at Johnson & Johnson, we have created a program that we call the externship program. And it is where we have people from companies all over the industry come work with us for 3 months. We sign NDAs. We have people from AOL. We've had people from Meredith, from NBC. We are going to have some people from J. Walter Thompson and BBDO. And we are sending our people over to work with them, because we need to start cross-training ourselves, because the skill set we need isn't there yet. So we need to create that talent. And one of the ways that we do that is to find our advocates, our friends, the people who really can make a difference, and I call them passionaries. They are people that take a vision, either their own or someone else's, and they add enough passion to it to create positive forward motion. They are the passionaries. And you know them. You know at least one of them. They are the people that if you ask them to paint the ceiling of a cathedral and they had never held a paintbrush, would get it done, and it would be fabulous. You know them. Stick with them, no matter how old. And I think John Chambers made the point. No matter what level they're at, find the passionaries. It doesn't matter. The next one is integration. It's an overused word, but integrated campaigns, ideas, only come out of integrated organizations. The fearless collaborators among us know that an idea can only grow when it's shared. It's important. But we have to get people to share, and that's about motivation. Everybody knows the right thing to do. We know about global warming. We have the information. But to get people to do something about it, they need to be motivated. And there is always that carrot. And we'll talk a little more about compensation. That was kind of an aha for us after our global pitch, because we expected different behavior. And we need to motivate and compensate to align with that behavior. So that's been an important piece of what we've been transitioning into. And measurement. Measurement is what gives marketers permission to innovate. But we got to find simple ways to do it. And if everything we do is driving to that physical reality and to the virtual reality, we will be able to harness two of the most measurable areas of our industry. So it doesn't have to be that hard. Okay, so that's the next conversation we've been having. And when we're done with that one, and everybody's trying to keep innovation on their list, we've started to call it the big itchy sweater. This is how everyone feels. I don't think I know anyone, work with anyone inside or outside the company that doesn't feel like they're in a big itchy sweater waiting for their head to pop out of the neck hole. We're going to get there. There's progress, but it's uncomfortable, and I think that's okay. So that's what's going on so far in the 2 years I've been at Johnson & Johnson. Those are some of the things we're talking about. I have one more question that I hope I'm going to get some help on here, and we touched on it a little bit. We've been talking about these wonderful environments, these fabulous ideas, where people congregate in millions. To me, these communities, these big ideas, are like a beautiful picnic. Someone's bringing the potato salad, someone's bringing the pie. It's a picnic. So when you get a bunch of people bringing pie to a picnic, what happens? Here comes the Yellow Jackets. That's how I feel as a marketer when the sales folks come to me with these wonderful things. I feel like a yellow jacket at the picnic because they're selling me pre-roll and banners. So My question is, how do we avoid being that? When we start to monetize these fabulous things, how do we stop from compromising on it? How do we not compromise it? So my question is, how do I become the marketer that brings the wine to the picnic? And I don't think we've all figured that out. As an industry, I don't think we have, and I think we touched on that earlier. We need to help each other, because the internet's a wonderful place. I don't want to be the yellow jacket. So that's it. Thank you. Appreciate it.